Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Cancer rising signs, or for those with significant Cancer placements in your chart and are needing a neutral energy to help harmonize masculine and feminine energies within yourself. Then this reading's for you. Cancer. Pisces and Cancer are getting a couple of extra readings just because I messed up the schedule. So I'm trying to course correct the schedule at the moment. So we're on Cancer rising, and then after this we're going to move out of the water signs and get back on track. So Cancer. I feel like maybe there's an opportunity here to reframe an energy that maybe has been uncomfortable for you. It kind of feels like addressing something that perhaps was a problem in the past. And perhaps reframing it is how it's coming through. Okay. The Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation. The Benefactor, grace and generosity. I love that card. Oh, very nice. The Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. Interesting, Cancer. And at the bottom of the deck you have the Wall, obstacles. Interesting. So you're moving out of stagnation. There's some sort of like grace and generosity right at the center of this reading, and you're moving into rest and renewal. Perhaps you've asked for something, Cancer. Maybe you've made a request of somebody or something like that. I feel like here with the obstacles, there was perhaps something that you were not seeing a way out of. Hold on, we're gonna read the deck. Read the guidebook for this one. This isn't a deck that I use very much. So for the Dust Devil, it says, embrace the chaos, trust in the process, moving out of stagnation. The Dust Devil causes a ruckus. Some people are afraid of his chaotic nature, believing that he comes to intentionally stir things up. The truth is, you can't expect this dream ally to behave, to bring niceness, to be clean. His power is in the mess he creates as he calls for you to engage in the full cyclone of life. He represents two aspects to you now. The winds in your outer life appearing to throw you off course, where you assume the world is coming at or happening to you. And the winds that churn inside you, with the Dust Devil arising from your dreamscape to help you escape your invisible chain shackling you to a barren desert. Stop asking for things to be perfect. Awkward, messy, conflicted, exuberant, and wild is how you shift. Trust this process. The Dust Devil knows what you need when you need it. Once things settle, you will see the gleaming jewels awaiting your discovery, the wisdom awaiting integration. So it is kind of feeling like a stir up of some sort of energy, like something perhaps chaotic that is coming in to sort of stir up something that's been stagnant, is kind of how it's coming through. But it might not feel like a welcome process, or that like it's uncomfortable, Cancer. It also feels kind of like there's, again, with that sort of there perhaps has been an obstacle, right? Perhaps you haven't been seeing a way out of a situation, and it's like this energy is coming in to sort of present a solution, actually, is how it's feeling to me. But because it's so interesting, this card feels like sort of like the chaos, right? The sort of something that feels uncomfortable or unwelcome because it's causing a lot of change. But then it's moving into sort of like these two very peaceful energies. So we're going to read what those say. Gifts, grace and generosity, gifts, support, mentoring. When the benefactor weaves her energy into your life, you're put on notice that all manner of positive reinforcement is coming your way. The universe wants to let you know that just as you have been generous with others, serving with your gifts even in the smallest capacity, so will you be rewarded in myriad ways. The most beautiful gift the benefactor gives you is the recognition that you are stewarding and sharing abundance on behalf of a higher source, one that is always working through you. The motives for her generosity to you, as well as yours to others, are intangible, although you will see the results reflected in the material world. The benefactor reminds you that it's in the purity of your desire to share without the need for reciprocity that paradoxically, your initial generosity is reciprocated tenfold, seemingly without any connection to the original act. Dream sharing and carrying into being, and you will be amazed to see this vibrant seed take root and spread. Do it just because the benefactor will give you her blessing. That's really lovely. So I feel like there's some energy coming back to you, sort of tenfold is how it's coming through, but perhaps it is like so far removed from the original, what you gave initially, right? Because it could be that it's been it's like you're not necessarily immediately seeing what is causing the change or shift, only that there has been one is kind of how it's coming through. Perhaps you do know, though. I feel like there's an energy here of like someone supporting you in doing something or pursuing something, or I almost said surprise. It perhaps feels kind of surprising, maybe. They're helping to lift you up. Okay, Garden of Venus, the place of all is well, rest and renewal, self-acceptance. When the Garden of Venus appears, you are invited, actually summoned, to return to the pleasure garden of love. It is time to leave the field of battle. Put your sword away, there is nothing you need to defend anymore. Step through the gate into the garden of earthly delights. Bask in the joy of the wish-fulfilling trees and the scent of the healing flowers. You have returned home. You are weary, and it is time to rest deeply and be renewed. Go into this sacred garden alone, as there is no need for another to be present to experience its pleasures. Really, stop looking for the other. Enter by yourself. Allow your senses to intoxicate you. Leave all thought behind. Lose your analytical mind and return to your body. In the Garden of Venus, there is a still pond that shows you your reflection when you stoop down to drink. Who is that staring back at you? Look at who you have become. Rinse your face with these healing waters and practice deep acceptance. Love who you have turned into with all your imperfections and blemishes. The goddess Venus holds a mirror that allows you to see yourself in all your flawed beauty. Do not become caught in its spell. After a quick glance, take the mirror with you and return to the battlefield that you may reveal to others who they are becoming. Then you will no longer have a use for your sword. That's so interesting. So maybe you're getting just sort of like a temporary moment of grace or support from someone to sort of like renew your energy or your spirit, because maybe you have been sort of fighting an obstacle for a really long time. Interesting. So because I feel like this Dust Devil is something that's unrelated to the other two cards, but we'll get more cards to see what that is. Okay, not this animals deck. Okay, we're going to use the Faeries. So it could be that you're seeing a different side of yourself or accepting some aspect of yourself here with the Garden of Venus. Do not get caught up in that reflection, but instead use it as sort of a way to show others an aspect of themselves as well that perhaps they're not seeing. Damn, the Poet coming out first. That's interesting because this card sometimes talks about like being in sort of like a pause energy, like waiting for the right time to do something. And it's also kind of coming through as being like, now is the right time to do something, is to like take the action that perhaps maybe you've been waiting on, or you've just been like sort of like sitting on the sidelines, maybe to like sort of see how something's going to play out. It's like suddenly something's moving. Perhaps that's you, Cancer. Maybe you are causing sort of movement in a situation. You're causing a situation to move out of stagnation. Heave the fiery sword. It kind of feels like you're taking action on something, Cancer. I just heard a really shitty boss. You might have a really terrible boss. Maybe you're taking some actions. I don't know what that would be, what actions that would be, but perhaps you know already. But here's the sword, right? Because it was talking about like putting down the sword for a moment to get some sort of like rest and renewal in order for you to pick the sword back up. So maybe you've been in that. Maybe you were in sort of like, maybe you're in some sort of rest and renewal, but now it's time to pick up the sword again. The active principle, spiritual will, justice, and protection. The presence of the fiery sword's master in a reading can indicate that there is a need for clear and focused will and a determination to carry through on decisions, even if much effort is required. Or he can tell us that such will and strength is present in regard to the issue under consideration. We need to consider how he is expressing his will and strength, and how that expression may be enhanced or improved. It is this singer's energy that enables us to burst the bonds of an outgrown way of being and move on to the next level. He indicates that this is a time to take action based on clear spiritual will. His presence indicates great strength and great potential for good. It also reminds us that if we call upon him, we will receive assistance. The presence of this card in a reading radiates strength and willpower to the cards around it. Yeah, I feel like you're getting a lot of support, perhaps from a particular energy. It could be sort of like your guides or spirit that's helping you. Could be a specific person as well, but it doesn't have to be that. It is trying to move you out of stagnation, though, is kind of how it's coming through. It feels like there's another, like, trying to get you, Cancer, to see something from a different perspective. Perhaps yourself, or like some aspect of your will and strength from a different perspective. Perhaps you haven't been seeing an aspect of your strength that is necessary to move you out of a certain situation, or move you through an obstacle or past an obstacle. She of the Cruach, that's interesting. You have 3, 4, 5 here right in the middle of the, and then 3 at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. So this Guardian of the Gate talks about sort of like an initiation, like moving through some sort of, moving to the next level. It does require a bit of, like letting something go is kind of how it's coming through. She of the Cruach, though, like right in the middle of the table, like 4. You have 4, 5 here, and then the grace and generosity is number 3. So it could also be a collaboration, but because this is sort of a rising video, how I interpret rising energy is sort of like the balancing energy between masculine and feminine, right? And you have the masculine and feminine energies represented here. So it could be that you're coming into union within yourself. It could be that if you sort of resonate with one energy more than the other, there's another energy that's coming in to support you or to harmonize with you, is how it's coming through. So She of the Cruach is the receptive principle, nurturing and fertility. She of the Cruach may indicate a form of pregnancy, a necessary time of nurturing and development. We need to be open to her overflowing grace. She may also indicate a need to allow her nurturing grace to flow through us to others in the form of unconditional love and giving and spiritual healing. She tells us of the need for unconditional receiving, of making the best of what we are offered. She also reminds us that unbounded love and grace is ours, just waiting to be accepted. The presence of this card in a reading radiates comfort and nurturing to the cards around it. That's really lovely, Cancer. It's interesting because I feel like actually the Dust Devil here is actually coming through as being like the stagnation was actually that you were fighting too much. Is kind of how it's going. Like you're fighting something, whatever that is for you. Like it was like what actually needs to come into this situation is more nurturing and more rest and renewal and support. Perhaps you haven't been supported in a situation. So that's how it's coming through, which is really lovely. I feel like there's why is that, Cancer? I feel like you're like getting like a spa day or something. going. And that's moving out of stagnation. You haven't been nurturing yourself, maybe? Crossroads coming out underneath Tam the Poet. That's really interesting. I actually feel like that's not your energy. It's really interesting that the Pisces reading too, the first card has been not your energy is how it's coming through. There's an energy here at a crossroads. Perhaps there's somebody who is seeing you in sort of like a very peaceful and like there's someone seeing you in a very like peaceful resting kind of energy, and they don't know what to do about that, because I feel like maybe it's like their energy would be sort of disruptive in that way. I feel like though it would actually be beneficial to you. It's just, I feel like there's maybe somebody who is sort of undecided about that, is how it's coming through. They're at a crossroads. They're waiting for something. Music. And fire. Elixirs at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so this card always comes in with like be cautious about sort of like energies that try to promise like sort of a fix-all. It's gonna fix everything. Your problems will all disappear. That kind of thing. It kind of feels, which is interesting because you have obstacles, right? At the bottom of the deck. There's maybe somebody coming in who is, I don't know, are they proposing some sort of elixir, like trying to solve all your problems? Because I would be cautious of that, Cancer. It is feeling kind of like it would be moving you out of, I don't know. Maybe there is some sort of energy here with the Dust Devil, like it's sort of come in out of nowhere. Perhaps promising some sort of like, well, maybe not promising, but like suggesting some sort of, they have an elixir for you, right? Like some sort of cure-all solution to a problem that you have. I don't know, Cancer. That's hold on, let me just get the tarot deck out that I want to use. Or maybe you have some sort of solution to something, Cancer. There's someone seeking a solution from you, maybe. Page of Swords. Yeah, this card talks to me about like and Hanged Man, because it's wanting to come out like this instead. I'm seeing you as being in the Hanged Man position, and there's a Page of Swords here. The Tame the Poet, right? Sort of coming, or like watching at a distance. This card sometimes comes through as being like having loyalty to someone. I feel like they, or like admiring someone from a distance. Perhaps they're learning from you in some way. Again, flip this if it's not resonating. The Hermit, and then a whole bunch of cards flipped out that I'm not going to take. Yeah, Cancer, I feel like you're like, it's very solitary here, the Hermit, for you. I feel like maybe you've been in the Garden of Venus for too long, is kind of how it's going through. You've been sort of resting. I feel like okay, I love this card, but I never read the description of it before today. So it's kind of coming through as being like, don't get too caught up in this energy. It's nice, it's pleasant, but it's also meant to be temporary in order for you to like gain enough strength to go back out into the world, is how it's coming through. To like resume the quote unquote battle, whatever that is. It feels to me like you are being... It's almost like there's somebody outside of your door or outside of the garden sort of waiting for you to reemerge, is kind of how it's coming through. It's just the way that his hand is on his chest there. It's like, it looks to me like pledging allegiance. Like that's sort of how it's coming through. I don't know what it is that you're battling, Cancer, but it feels like you have somebody on your side wanting to support you. It kind of feels like, though, that they don't want to startle you, or like they because I feel like on some level their energy feels like this. That might be sort of like a worry that they have. They don't want to cause a stir, because it seems like you're sort of very peaceful in whatever energy that you're in. It kind of feels like they don't want to cause a stir. I feel like you are already sort of aware of this person's presence or energy around you. But because they haven't necessarily, perhaps directly with the Page of Swords, they haven't directly engaged with you or expressed any sort of like, what, I don't know, like they haven't actually approached yet, is kind of how it's coming through. Perhaps you're just waiting to see what it is that they're going to do. Seems like they're at a crossroads, though. Eight of Cups. It's interesting. Yeah, this card sometimes talks to me about like feeling alone, like not seeing yourself reflected in what's around you. As well with the Garden of Venus, because that did talk about sort of being solitary, right? Like seeking solitude, not searching for the other. So I feel like maybe you've done that already. It's so interesting. Whenever Mercury retrograde comes around, my readings sort of feel like they're reversed. Like like they tell a backwards story. So I'm seeing that here. It's like the cards want to be read the other way. I feel like Cancer, at a certain point in time, however long ago this was for you, with the Eight of Cups, you went into this sort of Garden of Venus, rest and renewal, because perhaps you weren't seeing something or someone perhaps reflected back to you with the Eight of Cups. Like, it was kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna go and be sort of in my own energy, that kind of thing, and rest and renew myself before heading back out there, is kind of how it's coming through. I don't know how long you've been there, though, is the thing. It kind of feels like, though, that's changing, because there's an energy around you here that's sort of waiting for you to come out of the garden. It's the Empress. The Empress. Like, you've become the Empress in the Garden of Venus, whatever that means to you. I feel like this is sort of like emphasizing like your feminine energies have healed or have gotten sort of like this upgrade, is how it's feeling to me. And it's like, it's time to come out of that now into more of a masculine representation, maybe, or or maybe there is, interesting, the Fool and the Emperor, and this is sort of like the feminine representation of the Emperor. Oh, okay. I personally, this Emperor to me is it's a challenging one. Because this one talks to me about, like, it's not, there's some sort of illusion, or it's like something that is, again with the elixir at the bottom of the deck, something that's a bit overinflated in terms of what's being promised. Interesting. So it could be very flattering, whatever it is that they're again, it's like somebody's making a promise that doesn't feel like they can actually follow through with it. So I would be cautious of that. It's kind of like somebody who, it could be something like The Boy Who Cried Wolf kind of thing. Okay, so I would just be cautious of this energy. It's someone who perhaps is like very flattering, maybe. They might be very flattering, but I don't know if they actually can deliver on their promises, is how it's coming through. They maybe just want something from you. Perhaps they want you to come out of the garden in whatever way. For what, though? Knight of Pentacles. Temperance, and the Nine of Pentacles. Your energy is unmatched, Cancer. Your energy is unmatched. 3 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I don't know that this energy can match your energy, is how it's coming through. I feel like they're trying to, but it's like with the Knight of Pentacles here, because this card talks to me about like sort of steadily putting in the work, persevering despite hardship and all of that, with the Temperance and the 9 of Pentacles as well. It's like you've worked so hard for this. And it also kind of feels like with these 2 cards, right? Because I'm seeing this as being sort of like, this is sort of like they're trying to I feel like they're trying to match your energy, trying to reflect some aspect of your accomplishments back to you. But it feels like for this Emperor here, like why I don't like this energy is because it looks to me like a balloon figure, right? Which is why I say overinflated, and requires a lot of other people to like have it stand up straight. If other people let go of this energy, it would deflate, is kind of how it's coming through. Whereas this one, robust. So it's kind of like it kind of feels like somebody who is perhaps promising a lot of whatever return to you. It feels kind of like they have an elixir, right? They have a promise, but that there's actually nothing substantial about whatever it is that they're trying to promise you. It kind of feels like they want access to something that you have. King of Wands. Page of Wands. Three of Pentacles. They want to collaborate on something. So there's a King of Wands energy. Okay, generally I like this King of Wands. Why is it coming out with this false Emperor energy? Ace of Cups. I'm hearing that Shania Twain song. You think you're Brad Pitt, huh? That's sort of how it's going through. So I don't know. I don't know what this is. Judgment. Cancer. It feels like you're taking like a really, really, like close look at something. And it perhaps is not, it's not like, maybe it's not impressing you very much, Cancer. No offense to whoever this is. It kind of just feels like it's like it's, I don't think they're, showing all of their heart is how it's coming through. I feel like maybe they're trying to impress you with sort of like maybe flattery, or maybe like their power, quote unquote, with the emperor, like their status maybe, or like they're trying to impress you with that. But I don't know if they can actually follow through on that, is how it's coming through. It does feel, though, with the Ace of Cups, that they have a lot of love, right? Or potential for that with the King of Wands. It's kind of looking to me like, though, for you, Cancer, you might sort of be in a situation like, okay, well, that's not what I'm looking for, or like, that's not, show me more, is how it's coming through. Like, show me your heart. Yeah, the Three of Swords. Their heart, that's for sure. It's like you want to see their heart, like what's in their heart. Clearly there's something there that they are not sort of like wanting to look at, or they don't want you to see that about them. Six of Swords. I feel like there's some emotional and sort of like mental energy with the sword. Like, both of these are swords cards, but they're both very emotional swords, right? Like Three of Swords, Six of Swords. There's something emotional and mental that's sort of tied up in like how they present themselves that is not it's kind of like, for you, Cancer, it's like, show me your heart. Wheel of Fortune, there's the heart, right? It's like movement happens when they show you their heart. But that it's because it's like wanting to know like how their mind works, or like how they process emotions, or how they feel, that kind of thing. Because this talks to me about sort of like the machinery, like wanting to see how, for lack of a better word, how like the machine works, right? Like it's like wanting to know what makes their heart beat. What is it that they care about? Because I feel like maybe they're using sort of like flattery, or like a show of power, but they're not showing their heart or their love, or what they care about. It's kind of like it's show me more. Anyways, Cancer, I'm gonna leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.